Hello everyone, and welcome back to Conspiraseed. First off, I'd like to apologize for not having a video last week. I was asked on Thursday if I wanted to go to Disneyland for the weekend, and the flight left Friday. So I had to pack and prepare for that, and I had no video ready, so I apologize. Here's a picture of me in Disneyland to make up for it, hopefully, and a little video of the Haunted Mansion.
I really outdid myself this time. Look at all the happy faces.
Season's greetings, everyone.
This week, we're going to be talking about the strange disappearance and death of Mateusz Kawecki. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some time with me today. It really does mean a lot, and let's get into it.
Nothing like being subscribed to Conspiraseed on YouTube. Nothing like it.
Mateusz was a 30-year-old Polish man from a small village by the name of Hutkow, which is in southern Poland. Despite being from Poland, he lived in Hanover, Germany with his father for the past 5 years and worked as a construction worker. He had a long-distance relationship with his fiancée, who was Polish and lived in the town of Lipia Góra, a northwestern Polish town. She was pregnant with his child and was soon due to give birth. Given the circumstances, he set out on the long drive in his 1998 BMW 525 at around 11:30 p.m. from Hanover to her town of Lipia Góra. He left on March 28, 2018. The drive is 402 miles or 647 kilometers. He was set to arrive the next morning around 8 or 9, however, he never made it. His father said that he called him around 10:30 on March 29th, which was the following day, and his son said there was terrible traffic all the way to Poland and that he was stuck in a German-Polish border town called Szczecin. Lipia Góra was about 133 miles or 214 kilometers from where he was currently at. The German-Polish border wasn't staffed or patrolled at the time, and there was no passport checks, just a number of license plate recognition cameras. After he got the call from his father, he then sent a text message to his fiancée saying that he would be with her in about 2 hours. 2 hours later, he has still not arrived. His fiancée starts to worry. She calls him multiple times with no answer and decides to call his sister, who also lives in Hanover, around 5 p.m., but was also unable to reach her. Later that evening, his mother, who had also not heard from him, goes to the police. The police discourage her from filing a missing persons report as it's too early and they believe that he will likely turn up. Anyone who's familiar with missing persons cases knows that if an adult goes missing, you have to wait a little while before they actually become a missing person, as it's possible that they just ran off. Adults have free will. Something very similar is happening here, where he's missing, but he's not yet considered a missing person. It's now a few days later, early April, and his family reports him missing in both Germany and Poland. The German police, however, refuse to investigate as they believe the Polish authorities are on the case. The family then asked the Polish police to locate his cell phone, which was supposedly on him for a couple days after his disappearance, but the police were unable to do so as he was using a German SIM card. German police also claimed that they can't locate his phone either, as he had disappeared in Poland. The Polish police later said that his phone was actually never connected to a Polish network, and that it's unclear where he actually was when he received the call from his father. His sister said that investigators claimed that he never crossed the border, as CCTV monitoring at the border indicated that he had not entered Poland. As you can imagine, his family began to grow frustrated with the effort, or lack thereof, from the police in either country and began their own search for clues on the disappearance. They checked the entire route of the drive from Hanover to Lipia Góra, going down side streets, checking with gas station employees, asking for any video surveillance they had. They would go around to local markets near the border with his picture, and then they would post posters with the picture of him saying missing. The family appeared on TV in both Poland and Germany several times, both to ask the public for help and to air their grievances with the police of either country for not doing enough or taking the matter more seriously. About 6 months later, on September 12th, 2018, a neighbor comes to his mother's house in Hutkow to ask about their barn, as a terrible smell had been emanating from it since July, and the neighbor thinks it's probably a dead animal. With the background knowledge that we currently have, this is not a good sign. The neighbor asked the mom if he can go check the barn for her. Half of the barn was walled off, which created a room, and there was an attic on the top level of that room. She agreed, so the neighbor climbed up and saw a pile of clothes. Upon closer inspection, however, his face turned to one of shock and horror when he saw that it was actually human remains consisting of a severed head and torso. The corpse at this point is too decomposed for him to identify. Some of the teeth had been knocked out and stuck to his clothes. There were also 2 rope nooses hanging from the roof and a backpack on the floor, which was later confirmed to be Mateusz's. Inside the backpack, they found a Polish water bottle with cigarette butts inside, as well as an orange juice box. His family said that this was odd and claimed that he never drank orange juice. A cell phone in the backpack showed that there was a call to his uncle on March 10th of 2018, but it lasted less than a second and never even got through, so it's likely that it was accidental. DNA analysis was conducted, and it was confirmed that the remains were indeed his. His personal belongings were analyzed, and no other DNA had been found on his items. The police and public prosecutor maintained that the death was a suicide due to the 2 nooses, and refused to investigate further despite appeals and efforts from the family. They believed that he had planned his death beforehand and said there was no evidence of foul play. Unfortunately, the exact pieces of evidence which led prosecutors to this decision were never released to the public. 4 days after his body was found, his family found his shoe in the barn with a detached foot still inside, which was evidence to the family that the police hadn't bothered to search the barn properly. Prosecutors were able to gather a lot of evidence, including DNA, expert reports, and an analysis of his phone. German police obtained security camera footage and conducted a search of his apartment in Hanover, and all of the evidence was then sent to be analyzed by experts in Warsaw. Based on all the evidence, prosecutors were able to establish that he had lied to his family on the day of his disappearance. He was not in Szczecin when his father had called, nor was he traveling at the time. According to receipts found with his belongings, he was still in Germany at this time. Based on evidence found, he took a train to the German border town of Frankfurt an der Oder, which is still on the Polish border, then, most likely, walked over a bridge to the Polish town of Slabice almost 24 hours after telling his family that he was already in Poland. He then checked into a hotel with an unknown person. After this, he took a train to Warsaw the next day and then a bus to Zamość, which is the largest town close to his hometown of Hutkow, about 13 miles away. He arrived at Zamość around midnight, but it's still unknown when or how he got to Hutkow, where his mom lived and where his body was found. He told his family that he was going to his fiance's house in the northwest of Poland, but was found in his hometown in the southeast. These 2 towns are 395 miles or 635 kilometers away from each other. His car, the 1998 BMW 525, has never been found, nor were they able to find evidence of it being transferred to anyone or registered to a new owner. The keys to his car were also never found, despite his wallet and backpack being found in the barn. The attic of the barn is visible from the ground, and the family said they used the barn throughout the summer of 2018, so it seems very unlikely that they wouldn't notice a hanging body or the smell of a rotting corpse. His cousin said, quote, "It is very strange because we have been to this barn many times during this time. The door is wide open and nobody noticed anything. The prosecutors claim that he was hanging there, but we do not think so because we simply did not see him there." His sister accused the officers who were involved initially of negligence, as they refused to search the barn thoroughly because it would take too much time to sift through the hay which lay low on the ground where his body was found. While the prosecutors found the officers' actions did not meet the standard for criminal negligence, an internal police investigation did find wrongdoing and the 2 officers were reprimanded. So obviously, we're left here with a lot of unanswered questions. Who did he meet in this hotel? If he was hanging in the barn the whole time, why didn't anyone from his family see or smell the body? What happened to his car? Did he actually commit suicide or was he murdered? He had a child on the way, which leads me to believe that if he did end his own life, he wasn't ready to be a father, or he was cheating with that person that he checked into the hotel with, and the guilt caught up to him. I also think that he would have done it near his childhood home, because that is where he feels the most safe and comfortable. It makes sense, in my opinion, if everything else added up as well. Sadly, I don't think much adds up in this case at all. His head was cut off. How could that have happened? Was it decay from hanging too long? Well, then I think his family would have seen something. The smell I can kind of forgive because if something starts to stink little by little, you get used to it little by little. It is possible that his car was the scene of the crime, and they can't find it because whoever killed him got dumped the car. Then, the perpetrator put his body in the barn with 2 nooses to make it look like a suicide. There are a lot of potential theories here. Anyway, what do you think happened to him? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some time with me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.